I speak 9 languages, the single dad said with pride. The billionaire laughed, but was left in shock. The cafeteria was loud with chatter and clinking dishes, but when the man in the janitor's uniform spoke, the room seemed to quiet just a little. I speak 9 languages, he said, his voice calm, almost shy, but steady with pride. Across the table, the billionaire CEO, Alexander Graves, leaned back in his leather chair, a smirk forming on his face. 9 languages. That's cute, he said with a mocking chuckle. What are they? Mop, bucket, and clean. His entourage laughed. Cameras were rolling, because this was part of a humanizing PR event for Alexander's company, talking with the common folk. But something about the janitor's quiet dignity caught people's attention. The man, Daniel Reyes, a single father in his late 30s, didn't look angry. He didn't defend himself. He simply smiled, picked up his lunch tray, and said softly, "Sometimes, sir, the world listens only when the wrong people laugh." It was a line that would echo later across millions of hearts online. 2 hours earlier, Daniel had been mopping the marble floors of Graves Tower, his 6th job in as many months. Every night he came home to a small apartment where his 8-year-old daughter, Luna, waited with her homework spread across the table and a stack of language books beside her. She was bright, too bright, and she asked him questions that could tear his heart apart. "Daddy," she had asked that morning, "when will you teach me French again? I want to sound like Mama did." He had smiled sadly. "Soon, sweetheart. As soon as I get a day off." He couldn't tell her that her mother, his late wife, had been a linguist who died while on an aid mission overseas. Every language Daniel learned since then was for her, and for their daughter, so she'd never forget where love could take you, even when life tried to silence it. When the billionaire's PR event began, Daniel had been called in to clean up a spill before the cameras rolled. The humble employees were supposed to share their stories, and Alexander, trying to look empathetic, asked Daniel where he was from. Daniel smiled. "It depends on which language you want me to answer in." The billionaire laughed. "All bite. Go on." And then Daniel began. He greeted him in French, told him, "Pleased to meet you," in Spanish, thanked him in Italian, quoted a proverb in Japanese, switched effortlessly to Arabic, German, Portuguese, and Swahili, before ending in Russian, each word fluent, each accent perfect. The room went silent. The billionaire's smirk froze. His assistants exchanged stunned glances. Even the cameraman forgot to breathe. How do you know all that?" Alexander stammered. Daniel placed the mop against the wall. "Because when you've cleaned floors in 9 different countries, you learn how to listen." It wasn't arrogance. It was truth. Every word carried years of sweat, grief, and endurance. After the event, Alexander's team laughed it off online. They thought they'd turn it into a meme. But the clip of Daniel speaking those languages, his humble smile, the way his eyes glistened when he mentioned listening to people, not judging them, went viral overnight. Luna woke him up the next morning, waving a phone. "Daddy, look, you're on YouTube. You have millions of views." Daniel blinked at the screen. The title read, "The Janitor Who Spoke 9 Languages, and Silenced a Billionaire." Within days, universities reached out to him, NGOs offered him translator work, and language institutes wanted him to teach. But Daniel didn't rush to take fame. He stayed humble. He still woke up early to make breakfast for Luna, still carried her lunchbox, still said grace before their small meals. When reporters asked what he wanted now that he was famous, he said simply, "I want my daughter to have the choices I never did." 1 week later, Alexander Graves showed up at Daniel's apartment building, without cameras this time. He looked tired, humbled. "I owe you an apology," he said, offering a small box. Inside was a scholarship contract for Luna, full tuition to one of the best international schools in the country. Daniel was speechless. "I laughed because I thought power was about money," Alexander admitted. "But you showed me it's about understanding people. That's a language I never learned." Daniel smiled, tears in his eyes. "It's never too late, sir. Language starts with listening." Months passed. Luna thrived in her new school. Daniel began working as a language consultant for aid missions, using his gift to bridge nations, not just earn a living. Every time he taught, he started his class with the same words. Language isn't just speech. It's how hearts meet when words fall short. And somewhere, in a quiet corner of his heart, he whispered the same promise he'd made years ago beside his wife's hospital bed: I'll keep speaking for both of us. When you finish watching this story, take a deep breath. Think of the people who've been mocked, underestimated, or ignored. The world often laughs before it listens.